Hi everyone, so I'm here with my update for Project Panoply. I'll be using the physical board this time because it'll actually be the last time I'll be using this board with this version. I was gonna name it something, like edition, I guess. I am planning on actually updating the board next month in February, so that will be, yeah, just available at that point. I am super excited. I have some good plans. I have my little sheet here where I plan everything. So that will be something that I'll make available on the website sometime in February, and then I'll be doing kind of my intro for that edition. I'm going to call them editions. I feel like that sounds very fancy. So this is the first edition of the board, and then we'll be progressing into the next edition pretty soon. But let's get into my update for this board. If you're not familiar with Project Monopoly, it's a game that I created last summer, kind of off of the very popular Monopoly game, and I just was wondering if I could make it work for panning, and it totally does, at least for the way that I want it to work. You're not like, trying to get anything out of it. You're not like playing with other players. You're not like, there's nothing to really win other than that you use up some of your products. But I think that it's really cool to engage with like a more physical game board. I did develop an entire website that kind of really lays out all the rules, any questions you might have. I tried to include kind of like a little FAQ at the bottom there for you, especially because there is a challenge wheel involved and then also a usage wheel involved, which is optional, just as a reminder. And also that there is no set schedule for this in terms of like, I'm not asking for like a day of the month or that it should be monthly updates. I really want to make this flexible for you, and it's been really cool to see how people have taken it as their own, and I'm hoping that it will at least allow you to be creative in that way. I've seen people skip some prompts if they don't work for them. That's great. I've seen people incorporate the usage wheel, which has been super, super fun to see. But if you have any feedback for especially this next edition of the the board, then please let me know. I'm thinking at least to kind of lower the usage, like the number of usages. I feel like I was quite high because sometimes I'm quite an ambitious panner, so that's how I design it. But I realized that it's not quite for everybody. But remember, you can choose your own use, so you don't have to stick with the usage wheel for everything. And then I'll also be incorporating some new prompts in there. I think the premise will still be similar. There'll be just more categories around the board versus like a very like a theme or anything like that. But yeah, let me know if you have any suggestions. I'll refresh the challenges. There'll be a few repeats, but hopefully most of them will be somewhat new. But yeah, I think it's been fun for everybody who's been involved, and I've just been really I've just enjoyed seeing kind of everybody that is engaging with it. Thank you so much for the support. So let me finally get into my update for this edition of the board. All right, so the first product that I rolled in last time was for the prompt challenge. That was my first challenge that I've ever gotten ever since starting the game, even though I created it. I like never got to the challenge, you know, tile. And I got my challenge was to finish an almost finished product. So I chose my DIY loose powder. I use it in this compact. It's super nice and versatile. I basically, there's like a sifter in here that I just, just dispense out on the puff. And I think it holds about 3 to 5 grams of product, depending on how much I really shove in here. But at that point, actually I was about this point. About like down here the last time I introduced it, but I already re-upped it and then already used it back down. So I feel quite proud of that. So I basically used, I guess, an entire container since talking with you guys last. So that prompt is out. The next prompt is for lip balm. And yeah, I landed on the lip balm space. And I brought in a balm that I just franken at the time. This was about a month ago. Yeah, like early December, I think. And I challenged myself to use it 10 times. I think that was the usage wheel. And I actually managed to use up a lot more than that. It was nearly brand new, flush to the top. And look at how far down it is now. It is crazy. So it takes me quite a bit to wind everything up, but the way I mark my products is actually gouge lines in them. So you can kind of see there's like one main prominent line, like pretty close to that the top part there. And when I finally got around to marking this to figure out like how fast I'm actually progressing through this, I had like 3 visible lines. So I've pretty much used half of what was visible by the time I like marked it. And at that point, I think I was already done with the 10 uses, and I just challenged myself to like use it. So I think it's crazy. I've used more than, think about half of the balm, if not more than half of the balm. At least that's what's usable, right? There's still a good chunk in there. In about a month. So I feel a lot more optimistic now about my lip balms, because the last year I had a really, really bad experience. Not super bad experience, but like I was not making as much progress on my lipsticks and lip balms than I had ever before. And I was not really sure why. But I think a lot of it has to do with the like opacity that this has. I franken my lip balms to be very, very sheer. And so I think that helps a lot. But yeah, so I think that, yeah, I smashed that goal, if anything. All right, least used was my next prompt, and I brought in a brand new lip liner at the time. It was in the shade Whirl from MAC, and I've sharpened it, I think, only once. I used it the 10 times that I rolled, like, do my usage wheel for, but this is just such a stiff formula that I didn't have to sharpen it that much. So that is what's going on there. And so I got that done, and I've just been continuing to use this, my only lip liner, so you know, I use it. The next prompt I got is for primer, and I challenged myself to use a primer that actually I hadn't even opened yet. I had gotten it, I knew that it was an older product because it came from Glambot in like a mystery thing, a mystery bag, and my random usage wheel gave me 20 uses, and I was like, to use a primer that I've never used before 20 times. And I also have another primer that's open in my collection that like kind of does the same thing of like blurring and stuff like that. Sorry, here's the primer right here. And when I finally twisted off the cap, it was sealed. I was like, what? There is still the full 1 ounce in here. I don't know if I can get through this. Not that it was a finish, goal, but I was like, wow, like just for my personal collection, I was like, oh boy. But I got my 20 uses, and I've actually been pleasantly surprised by this. And I feel like I use very little every time just because it is a blurring primer. The way I apply it is also really interesting. I tend to apply a lot of my products on the back of my hand, but this one I've actually just been squeezing off the top and just like wiping it like that. So I used very little every single time. So I feel like between this primer and my other like blurring primer in my collection, I'm like, oh my goodness, I have so much to work through. But regardless, I got my 20 uses on this. Very pleasantly surprised by my experience with this, and I will continue to use this. So my next prompt that I got was concealer, and I think it's like the 3rd time I've gotten the concealer prompt, but I go where my dice tell me to go. And so I pulled back out my concealer palette here, and I had the goal of hitting side pan, and I did that. So you can see here, I have side pan on this shade here and continue to expand that. This is the only concealer I use when I remember to use it. So I'm really happy with that progress, and hoping I won't get that prompt again for a little while. That'd be nice. But again, I just do what the dice tell me, where the dice tell me to go. And the last prompt I got was again another challenge wheel, and I was challenged to try a new technique, and I actually got to do that on camera. I did that, I think, in one of my makeup dates in December, where I basically used my finger to apply a colorful eyeshadow, like a colorful gradient over my eyes, and it worked quite well. I was pleasantly surprised, and yeah, I don't know if I'll do it anytime soon, but it was fun. It was fun for what it was worth. So, okay, cool. So let us now do my last update with this board. Sorry if you can see the ring light behind. I'm going to try to shift it so it won't do that. But I just got like a new, it's actually technically a mirror that, has that illumination ring. So, I got it as a Christmas present. I was very pleasantly surprised. So if it feels like my lighting's a little bit better, that's why. But again, reflective products are not going to bode well with that. All right. So, do I have my little, a little marker must have dropped off in terms of like how I mark where I was. So I think I will just use, oops, dropping stuff. I'm just gonna think on the fly here and choose something that might be a little bit sticky and could help mark where I am. I mean, I have plenty of things that are sticker-like because I have young kids. There you go. I found a little foam star. Okay, so it looks like the last time I was past concealer and then went to the challenge wheel. Okay, so hopefully that's pretty clear where I am. The star right there. Do I need a darker star? I don't think a gray star is going to be much more helpful. I don't think so. I'll just use the silver one for now. Or the yellow one for now. All right, so we're over there. And let's just see where the dice will tell me to go next. So I have two dice that I bought. They're very pretty. And let's do it. So two there. That is a 10. So that is gonna bring me to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, an eyeshadow palette. Ooh, I don't think I've done that one before. Okay, so eyeshadow palette. Which one should I do? I have a few that I have not been using, and I have one that I'm about to bring into my Pandos palettes. So let's do just finish that one. Okay. Let's do a fun one. I think it'd be cool to have some sort of companion palette to my main pan, that palette one. Okay, this one I've been looking at to figure out what I think about it. And actually this will be very timely because we'll be going into February and like spring-ish. This is a Viseart palette that I got from my good friend Steph from Still Steph. She decluttered this to me, thank you. And this has a very much like a pink and purple theme to it. And I just haven't figured out how to use it. I just haven't touched it enough. So I think that this will be a good project to kind of figure that out with. So let us spin the usage wheel. That one's up here. Like I'm oddly not used to my board anymore. Okay, it says choose your use. Okay, that's great because I'm getting a little bit nervous about my main palette for Pandos palettes. And I just really want to dip into this to figure out what I think of it. I think let's do 7 uses. Kind of an abnormal number for me, but I felt like 5 was too low, 10 was too high, so let's do 7. Let me write that down. Eyeshadow palette by Viseart for 7 uses. All right, let's roll the dice for the next one. Oh, and if it wasn't clear, I met my goal on all 6 of my prompts from last time. So I think I'll be rolling in 5 prompts this time, just because I think I had about 5 weeks to work on all these prompts. But I did finish it, I think, within about 4 weeks. So if that says anything. All right, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you can't tell, my kids got to this spot right here, but I am glad I just missed this one. So lip balm. Okay, so lip balm again. And this time, oh, I mean, I would love to finish. I would love to bring this one back in again as a finish goal. I do have another lip balm that I would like to use, but I think I'm just gonna go for a finish goal on this one. I like to rotate, but I'm like dead set on getting that done as soon as I can. So hopefully next time that I'm on here, it will be done and I'll be moved on to my next lip balm. All right, next prompt is a 8, if I'm counting correctly. I'm a little sleep deprived today, so hopefully I'm counting right. Okay, so we're starting here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, in your purse, which of course I don't have with me. I have stand-in products because I have another lipstick that has this exact shade in it with like this Franken shade in it, and then I also have a lip gloss in my purse of this exact shade as well in this exact packaging. So I feel like you get the idea of what's in my purse. These 2 products are in my purse. I think last time, since I already have this balm, I guess I'll pull in the lip gloss as something I'll use in my purse. And it is hard to count uses because I usually count uses like after I do my daily makeup and like mark a tally on my little like post-its and stuff like that. So I don't know if it's worth it to, I think I'm just gonna have to do something visually. I think that'll be easier for me. So right now, both of my lip glosses are quite full. In both this one and the one in my purse, so I feel like it's a good visual aid for kind of where I'm going for. I feel like in a month I would love to see it all the way down to the beginning of the R in Rare, if you can see that packaging there, just the beginning of the words there. Neither one of them are anywhere close to that, to be honest, so I think that would pretty much be like a stretch goal. and then I'll just report back. I'll probably forget to bring up that lip gloss again just because I like prepare for my videos pretty quickly and sometimes I forget to get stuff. But I will at least verbally tell you where I am, and hopefully you'll trust me with my report. So, all right, fourth prompt here will be a 7. So I started from in your purse over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A primer. Again, man, this board might be trying to tell me something, that I need to focus on something. Okay, so I really liked my experience with the Cover FX primer. I'm ready to take a break because I continue to use it. I liked it that much. I have 2 other primers in my collection. I have this MAC Prep and Prime, which I really enjoy. I don't actually know how much is left. It feels light, but yeah, I'm trying to think. I think this one's better for the summer. I think I'm gonna pull this one in actually because it is like still winter. Then this one might sit better on my skin that way. This is the Tatcha the Silk Canvas, but it's quite old, again, from Glambot, so it was used, it was swatched at least. And I had pan on it, which was super nice. So I think I'm going to do a usage goal because I'm actually very close. I think I have an idea of how to franken this right now. And I think I'm going to hold off until I finish it for this project and then I'll franken. So let's see what the usage wheel gives me. Hopefully it doesn't give me... I've had problems with this usage wheel where it just lands in the same spot. I don't know if it's just how I spin it or that it's just like weighted like that, but let's see what happens. So is it... Actually, let me start at a random spot. I think that will help. Okay. Okay, there we go. 5 uses. Okay, doesn't seem like very much, but I'll take it. And then I might do my little Franken project with that after that. All right, so one last prompt here. Also, the Tatcha one, now that it's a little bit older, it actually smells like Earl Grey, which I really enjoy. I tried to smell a new one in the store one time. I think I had like a mask on and it didn't smell like Earl Grey, and I was very disappointed. So I was like, I'm very happy with my version. I love Earl Grey. So, you know, I'm excited to actually use that. 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, concealer again. Did I see that? I'm not making any of this up. I'm not trying to get concealer every single time. Fine, I will use my concealer. I guess it's the last hurrah. This board is telling me one last hurrah. It's not gonna let me go that easy. Okay, so looking at my concealer palette, what will be my goal this time? I mean, hitting bottom pan down here seems the most realistic. Hitting side pan on this one would be a stretch, or we just do a usage goal and I don't have to think about that at all. But let's spin the usage wheel one more time and see what it gives me. 5 uses again. I think it's a different 5 uses than before. Okay, I'll take it. I don't want to burden myself with it too long in terms of counting for this. It's just the concealer palette I use, so it's like not that big of a deal, but it's just kind of funny. It happened again. So, not like a super exciting finish to this edition of the board, but I'm very happy with still my experience with it, and it's been super fun. And just like, I know there's a lot of components between like wheels and the board and the dice and this and that, but I think it's just fun to like, it feels like I'm playing a game, you know? So all right, so I have 5 things lined up for me this month. Let me hold them up. I like to do kind of like a summary here. With lip gloss, I have try to finish this, the primer, and my concealer palette. Okay. So again, a kind of a nice mix of stuff. Some challenging, some will be different, and some I just really want to get a better idea of, I think especially this palette. So I'll report back about my thoughts next month. All right, well, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.